All right, welcome back. I think this is the 5th episode of.
That's more than the 5th.
Is it more than the 5th?
Yeah.
It might be the 6th at the most,
Yeah.
but yeah. All right, maybe the 6th episode of Discovering Foundations of Truth. Basically, the reason why we start is it's based on a premise that whatever area you suffer in is an area in which you don't know God's truth about that area itself. The areas could include your relationships, your finances, emotions, leadership, and many others. But the more truths you learn from God's word, you will be able to navigate and dominate this reality we call life. Again, I'm Mr. Lamus.
I am Director Mula.
Mo Magaza.
Mr. Ramon.
Mr. Ramon. Welcome, Mr. Ramon, for the first time. I usually start with a couple questions just to try and get your mind into where you're thinking. My first question to you guys is going to be the pain that wasn't your fault, or the pain wasn't your fault, but the healing is your responsibility. So the pain wasn't your fault, but the healing is your responsibility. What are they trying to say? Anybody think about it?
I mean, I could take a stab at that. They say the pain wasn't your fault. Like, it's just in life. A lot of things can happen that's not in your control.
Mm-hmm.
So with only the healing is the part that you have responsibility, what you can control. So focus on the things that you can do and not worry about the things that are outside of your control, because some things are unpredictable. But if you know what you're going to do, then that's your control to heal.
Okay. Yeah. The one thing that people do kind of fall back on is like they blame themselves for something that happens in the past, and you can't change the past.
Facts.
What you can focus on is what you're doing as far as your healing. Now, that person that did something to you may not even like you, and they never will like you or whatever, so they're not going to do anything for your healing. So don't wait for the apology. None of that's going to happen. So you just have to take that into your own responsibility. All right, your life becomes a masterpiece when you learn how to masterpiece.
Love that.
So what is a masterpiece? Any idea? Give me an example of what a masterpiece is.
I mean, a masterpiece is something that, to me, the way I would describe a masterpiece is something that nobody can replicate.
Right. It's a one of a kind.
It's one of a kind, something that, is perfectly with its imperfections.
Mm-hmm.
Something that it took, a long time to make and think about. And something that, it's something that it catches your eye.
Okay.
It catches anybody's eye.
What is used one that the world kind of looks at as a masterpiece? It's called the Mona Lisa. It's just a photo or something that Leonardo da Vinci drew. The idea though is your life becomes a masterpiece when you learn how to masterpiece. How do you masterpiece?
I mean, the piece that you need to master is yourself.
Right.
I think that's what.
How do you do that? How do you go about doing it? You got any steps?
Yeah.
Any ideas?
It's I think it's like completely, it's being yourself,
Mm-hmm.
but it's completely like being closer to the source, trying to live the best life, you can live, but also matching your life to, almost like something to where you live in like God, like God-like.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's you're nothing can get on your nerves. You see things what a lot of people see differently. So like you would in terms of like you would see beauty in a lot of things that people don't see beauty in.
Okay.
That's what God does. You give chances to people. It's just being God-like as much as possible. That's being like closer to Him as much. Being like Him closer as possible.
Right. You're actually explaining a lot of the different steps. One of them is like relational intelligence. One's like emotional intelligence. But we've talked about all of them. But it is actually understanding the truths about what God says about you. Yeah. If you believe what He says about you, you don't have to worry about what someone else is talking about you. Because what they're talking about you is basically they're projecting anyways. They're just telling you about themselves. Yeah. So, all right. So the next one is focus on where you want to go, not where you are. Why would you want to focus on where you want to go instead of focusing on where you are right now? There's a big reason.
I mean, I think focusing where you want to go should give you steps to plan to get there. Mm-hmm. But why would you focus on if you focus on stuff that you're already in, you're stagnating yourself because you're not giving your brain a stimulation to think of things to get out of there. Mm-hmm. So you're literally holding yourself back. But if you are trying to focus on stuff places that you want to go, then it motivates you to have plans and ways to get there. So yeah, it gives you a drive, it gives you motivation, and it stimulates your mind.
Okay.
So-
The truth on that one is whatever you focus on, where your energy and focus goes is it's going to stay there.
Yeah.
So if you're focusing on your circumstances, that's where you're going to stay. Yeah, but if you want to get somewhere, you focus on where you want to go, and kind of just if you go fast enough in that direction, your past isn't going to catch up to you. You know what I mean? So you just get there without worrying about what happened before. All right, talking a little bit about emotions. Emotions are the indicators of where we are in a relationship to our growth with different aspects of ourselves. Okay, if you have a highly charged reaction to something, you know it's an issue you need to look at more closely. So if something truly bothers you, that's really an indicator of something that you need to work on. Okay, nothing should really get you that emotionally fired up that you lose your crap and, you just start swinging or anything like that. If you do, then like I said, there's something you need to work on. All right. Go ahead.
The difference between setting boundaries and things that are like they're going to truly affect you. Like, is that what you're saying? Like, should I put a boundary on it? And if that boundary is, the boundary stepped in, what do you do about that?
Yeah, the biggest thing about boundaries, I'm talking more about reaction to responding. Mm-hmm. So if you're able to respond, you're able to come with information or, evidence of how you're supposed to react. Or how you're supposed to handle that situation. You put a boundary there basically so something that bothers you doesn't keep bothering you. So if it's, if you have a boundary there, then what's bothering you, you just say that's not something I want to entertain. If someone's just coming loud at you, you can tell them that's not how we're going to interact.
What's the step above that? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like you can.
So you're saying after they jump over your boundary, that you have to have that
what's the next
consequence.
level?
Yeah, that's the consequence you have where I'm going to have to back away. Because if I stay in the situation, we may get it on. You know what I'm saying? That's the idea. You want to avoid that conflict for no reason, by setting a boundary. But like I said, it's more understanding those emotions will tell you where you need to work.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I mean, I think even setting boundaries, I think to me it's like you should be able to, unless the other person has a problem, then obviously you'd have to go wherever you gotta go. But
yeah,
I feel like you shouldn't even if there's a person that is there and you think he's getting on your nerve, like you shouldn't let anybody get on your nerves.
Correct. That's where you want to get to.
Yeah.
Everybody's not there yet, but that's the idea.
I mean, there's I guess we talked about things like what is the worst thing somebody can do to you, and are you able to forgive them? I was looking at the story where this lady, somebody, took her son's life away, and she was able to forgive that person and able to actually hug during the court proceeding. She was able to hug and pray in court for the person.
I seen that.
And I forgive you. Like if somebody can forgive in that,
See, I blame the devil.
so
Yeah.
what else, you should be able to not let anything get to you. But that's understanding though. That comes with understanding.
That comes with understanding the truth about what God says about you.
Grounding in faith, especially.
Yeah. Okay, so sometimes you must make decisions that hurt your heart but heal your soul. Give me an example of a decision that may hurt your heart at the time, but it'll heal your soul over time. Think about something you've done in your past that you may really wanted something, but like I said, sometimes it has to go because in the long run, it's not for you.
I mean, I can talk about me. I gotta let.
Yeah, anybody else want to speak? What you think? Did you have to give up anything you really wanted? But like I said, in the long run, you end up. Make sure you're talking to the microphone, brother.
For sure, I got a lot, but I gotta think what you want to say. For sure. Let me see.
How about just giving up reacting to things? Because you started to. After we spoke a couple times, even in soccer, and
That ain't me no more.
No.
I healed my soul.
that's good. I'm saying that comes from a truth to understand that when you react, that other person's controlling you. And that the truth is, I don't want anybody to control me. I want to control myself. So that's an idea of something you had to give up. In the long run, your soul's gonna be better off because now, if someone just yells and screams at you, you just look at them. Yeah, if you're the stronger person can walk away, the weaker person got to swing.
Yeah.
So that's because you got something to prove.
For me, it might be broad, but I'm still working on it. It's like giving up control on a lot of situations because I'm a like very controlling person to like a certain degree, especially when I want things to go my way because I always think like I know better than everybody, and that is a thing that's hurting me and my soul. So I've been pushing back a lot of like on myself to just let things be and see what happens.
Here's the truth to that. Control is an illusion. It's not even real. You think you're controlling something, but you'll control it for that moment. But when that person leaves away, he has free will just like you do. They can do whatever they want.
Facts.
So when you're controlling something, you're actually dominating a person, which goes against one of the truths. We're supposed to dominate, the resources, dominate the animals and stuff like that, but not people. Because when you try to dominate people, it never pans out right. All right. Your thoughts actually create the conditions of your life. When you change your thinking, you change your life. Your outer world becomes a mirror of your inner world. So your thoughts create the conditions of your life. Do you believe that?
100%.
Okay. So how you think is how your life goes. Go ahead.
Right. I was gonna say.
Go ahead. Yeah. If you want to say something.
No, I was gonna say it.
Okay, when you change your thinking, you change your life. Okay, what's this one? I want you guys to try to expound on this one a little bit. Your outer world becomes a mirror of your inner world.
What do you mean your outer world?
Outer world is the physical. Remember last time we talked
Reality.
subjective and objective. Objective is outer world. Subjective is inside you. So your outer world becomes a mirror of how you feel on the inside.
I mean,
I'll just give an example.
No, I know
Go ahead.
what
Yeah,
you're saying.
okay, yeah.
I'm trying to help people. How would they?
Right.
How would
The way
they
I would
change
help them
that?
is like if you see somebody walking around that's out of control, reacting to everything, that means inside of them, they don't understand.
I'm not
the
talking
truth.
about the other person. I'm talking about if somebody wanted to change that, how would they change that?
So if I see a bunch of negativity, I have to look inside and say, why does that look like negativity to me?
You a negative person.
Because you're a negative person.
But I'm saying even
You're
if
looking
that
through the
person
wrong lens.
sees negative, how can they change that?
Okay. Start understanding the truth. When I look at something, am I supposed to control that?
Nope.
Right. You're not supposed to control it. So like I said, a lot of times when I become negative, anger is just like a fruit. Anger just kicks up when you have, a fear, really it's a fear of control or a lack of control. But the idea is if you can't control something, then I look at it as like it's out of control. Right. Really, like I said, the perfect example is in the school. I see some kids acting foolish. That's children. You know what I mean? If you think of it that way, it's different. Then that's out of control. Now I'm going in and trying to tackle dude and trying to, arrest people. And it's like, that is not the mindset you need to be a teacher.
So if you're a human, you have good moments and bad moments. If you're thinking about negative stuff, how do you get out of that? How do you, change your mindset? If you're like, today, I want to do, you know what I mean? How you maneuver and be able to change the, your mindset?
So you got to change yourself inside. So what I do is I feed myself something positive.
And
Whether it's a
what are those
good
things?
podcast, whether it's calling a person up that's always positive.
Yeah.
It's, trying to be intentional in what I'm doing, and not just letting life happen to me, So that's the idea. If you do that every day, you wouldn't have any issues. But obviously there's things that get in your way.
So the way you would, get out of your negative thoughts is outsource or insource of things that are positive.
Yeah. Okay. And there's songs you might listen to. I mean, people have some of these skills already that they do naturally because it makes them feel better. They just have to understand why. If you understand why, then you can do them intentionally and not get to that point. You have to see yourself boiling up. When you boil up, then you have to try and bring yourself down, because you're the only one that can.
Can I add to that?
Yeah.
Also, like what I would do is I'll think forward. I'll think like in my head, I'll think about the next couple of days. Like, do I want to be mad? Like, what's the consequences of me being mad, being negative for what? Like, I want to be happy tomorrow, at least be in a better mood. I'm going to do something within today so tomorrow I can look forward to being positive.
Right. So we talk about circumstance. If you're standing in a circle, that's that circumstance. So if you look for tomorrow and you move towards what you want, you're out of that circumstance.
Exactly.
That circumstance is causing you to be emotional, being mad or whatever. And that's the nice thing about this world. Everything changes. I don't care if it's a disease, if it's, something that they tell you from the doctor, it's going to change. Yeah. All right. Here's an artist's rendition of what the secret to happiness is. So the one guy asked him, how do you make such a beautiful thing from a stone? Obviously, he's a carver. He replied, beauty is already hidden there. I just remove the extra stone. Just remove your worries, your negative thinking. Happiness is already under there.
Right. Oh my goodness, that's a good one.
Yeah, so that's the idea. Like, this artist can see this stone being like some kind of beautiful whatever. And like I said, he just has to remove the extra, and now it is.
I mean, that's basically seeing the beauty in everything.
Yeah,
right?
seeing the potential. Yeah, in everything you see. Yeah.
There's a lot of people see something and just see it for what it is.
Physically what it is. Yeah, they're looking on the wrong plane.
So if we looked at it, we would just see a stone, but he looks at it and sees something else. You know what I'm saying? He just got to remove some parts. And
Yeah, move some parts around, and all of a sudden you got a symphony. Okay, stop judging your day by how productive you were, but instead judge it by how present you are. Because a lot of people get caught up in how I got this done, I got this done, I got this done. You're going to have the same thing tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? The people that like to do those to-do lists instead of the to-be list. You know, if you are being something, you're going to get stuff done. You know what I mean? Because if you say you're going to be productive or you're going to be, you know, attentive on what's going on, you're going to get a lot of stuff done. Whereas, like I said, there's going to be days where you're not very productive, but that doesn't mean you have to go negative and, you know, just wreck your whole day because you didn't get your list done. So, okay, when you find no solution to a problem, it's probably not a problem to be solved, but rather a truth to be accepted. So can you find the answer to a truth? Or can you change a truth?
you can't change the truth
Can't change the truth. Why?
because it's the truth.
Because it's the truth. It don't matter if it's here or if it's over in out by my way in West Day. You know, the truth is the same no matter where you are, no matter who you are. Truth never changes. That's what the definition of truth is.
Can you digest, break it out down for me? Because that is like something people have a confrontation with every day. Like you they have a problem. The truth is there, and they're not like aligning themselves to the truth. Like, what is the originality? Like, what's the initial problem? Like, is it them not knowing the truth, or is it like their truth is different?
Okay, see, there isn't their truth and his truth.
Right.
There's only the truth. And it comes down to awareness. When you're aware of what is true and what is just facts, facts will change. You know what I mean? If you're aware of the truth, just like I said, if I'm trying to control two kids trying to argue or fuss, I can't change that. So my awareness is that that's going to have to play out. That way when it gets done, then it's a blessing to both kids. You know, then they figure out what they're trying to, figure out. And that's the truth, you know. Whereas my truth might be, well, I can control that. No one, argues in my classroom. No one, yeah, okay. You know what I'm saying? You can think that if you want to, but then you're going to be frustrated your whole life because you're trying to change stuff that you can't change. Same with your female. If your relationship with a female and you think, well, the longer I stay with her, she's going to change. She's going to be able to do this. She is who she is until she wants to change. So you cannot change people. People got to change themselves. That's the truth. So
pain.
yeah, a lot of times, like I said, it says when you find no solution to a problem, first of all, that's a bad thought process. Anyways, there's no problems. There's opportunities. If you want to fix it, you can. If you don't want to fix it, leave it alone. But it's probably not a problem to be solved, but rather truth to be accepted. So that's why they're saying if once you are aware that it's a truth that has to be accepted, there is no problem anymore.
100%.
All right, so this is a good one. Don't take offense, take notes.
Yeah, for sure.
So expand upon that. What do you think, Ramon? If I tell you don't take offense to what I'm doing, just take notes. What could I be talking about?
You were basically telling me that whatever you call me, I'm not supposed to be I'm not supposed to be, feel bad about that.
Okay.
But take notes that you're broken inside. And
Okay.
maybe you need some love. A little.
All right. That's good. Yeah, that's definitely an example.
Yeah.
What about the people that are really successful? If someone's really successful and you take offense to that, you're never going to be. That's the problem. People get mad because you're doing so well. But if they get mad because you're doing well, then they're going to be mad that they're not doing well and they're not going to do well. Like I said, the idea is when you take notes, you actually see the steps that they get there and everybody can be there.
Would you call that emotional intelligence?
Yeah, it's definitely, because it does mess with your emotions for sure. Yeah, because you start feeling like you're less than. And it's like, that's bad, You're not really less than. You're taking offense instead of just understanding, you should be taking notes. That's all. Okay, intuition resides in the soul. Intuition is the ear of the soul. So intuition is the ear of the soul. We're getting deep now.
I like that.
The soul is, remember, it's your mind, your will, and your emotions. Yeah. And you actually build your soul. When you came to this earth, your soul was kind of kind of small, but your environment, your education, everything that builds your soul up. So how can intuition be the ear of your soul?
I mean, people always say like, listen to your,
Listen to your heart, right?
yeah.
Yeah, because your heart knows.
But like your intuition, like, I mean, I guess I'm trying to connect it with like women in, what is it? Not what is the, like women have some type of intuition, like they,
They
the
definitely
women
have intuition,
type
yeah.
of thing. Not so much guys, but
So
like,
guys definitely have intuition
Definitely
too.
have.
but I'm
Yeah.
talking about like you're not gonna hear people say, like guys' intuition. You hear like women's intuition.
The reason why you
we're
hear
not emotional.
women's intuition is they're more emotional, so they're in tuned with their intuition a little more better than we are because we're logical, we're factual. We think things should fit into place. They're emotional, so if it feels right, it's good for them.
It drives them quicker than us.
Yeah, it doesn't drive us as quickly. But when you're hooked into your
Can your
intuition,
intuition lead you in the wrong place though? Because if because you guys just said that they're more emotion, so they need that, right? So can their intuition lead them into a wrong decision? Because they're making decision off intuition while they're very emotional, right?
Mm-hmm.
So can that lead them into something else?
absolutely, and it does.
They
I
follow
can't,
their
so in that
intuition.
argue because
So in that
they'll
case,
fight to the death over something. That,
But in
you know,
that case, then
that
intuition
doesn't make sense
is
to
not
us.
good. You see
No,
what I'm
it can be good.
Yeah.
I'm saying you want to be in tune to your intuition because your spirit actually hooks into your heart. You know what I mean? So when you download something from your source,
Yeah.
that'll come through your intuition. You'll think, oh, I just heard something. And there's no voices in the room.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you're not in tune with that, then you're not going to get that download. So it is good in a way, but you don't want to rely on anything too much. Can't just be that. All right, all cause effect is ultimately experienced by the self.
Can you say that one more time?
All caused effect is ultimately experienced by the self. So if I do something, I will experience it. I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, it can.
So whatever you cause another to experience, you will one day experience it. So you got to think about what you do to other people.
Yeah, whatever goes around.
You're basically
comes around.
doing it to yourself.
Yeah.
You're not going to get away with that.
Whatever goes around comes around.
Yeah, whatever's done in the darkness will come to
Come
light.
to light.
So you gotta be positive at all times.
I'm saying that's like I said, that's the difference between understanding a truth and just doing whatever you want to whoever you want. So when you're doing it to someone else, when you explain to them, that will come back to you. That actually stops some kids because sometimes a kid will be sitting there cussing and it's like out of the overflow of your heart, your mouth speaks. So now they say, oh, what do you mean? Because I'm cussing, I'm bad inside. Well, probably there's something inside your heart that's actually damaged. Yeah, it's causing you to cuss. Okay, and cussing at other people. I'm not just talking about cussing because that's your vernacular. That's a
Question
little
for you,
different.
Lee.
Go ahead.
When the kid is acting out like that, when is the appropriate time to approach them? Like,
The
you're gonna be in
biggest
heated
thing
moment.
is, the biggest thing is when they're emotional, they're not going to listen a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to give them time to calm down. But if they're not really emotional, say they're just doing it for shock value, I can hit them with that, and they're like, they don't even understand. Basically, they're hearing something that they probably already know because, like I said, our superconscious, God's told us everything before we even got here, and it just gets revealed, as we live life. So when you hit them with something, it actually hits them in a spot where they're like, I have no idea what that was, but I'm not cussing anymore for some reason. So like I said, the truth will do what it's supposed to do, whether you want it to or not.
By hitting them with something, you saying like
Just
like
speaking
with a
to 'em, not
positivity,
yelling.
or just like, what do you mean?
No, I don't yell at them. I just speak the truth and I let the truth do the work.
Got you.
It's not me doing the work. Like I said, I don't know the truth. I just know what I've read and that kind of stuff.
Got you.
So okay, oh, this is a little deep here. A man or woman who doesn't talk is emotionally congested. It's the mucus of pain, mucus of regret, mucus of projecting my thoughts on others, or mucus of insecurity. So a man or woman who doesn't talk is emotionally congested. So what's that trying to tell you?
There's problems that haven't been dealt with, pretty much. That's how it
Right.
sounds to
So if
me.
you're emotionally congested, you have to find a way to get rid of those emotions.
But you said
Go ahead.
that a person that's quiet,
Mm-hmm.
that's good though.
Is it good? Are you expressing yourself?
I mean, just because you're quiet don't mean like you're listening to. That's the people like. There's difference between. I know what you're saying. There's people that sit down and just listen, and there's people that are quiet. That's completely different. So the people that are quiet have so many things going on in the head and they don't know how to get it out. Like
They're
congested.
emotionally congested.
But
Men,
now
you
is
think
that
that could happen with men too?
absolutely?
it could have
It happens with
any human
everybody.
person.
My thing is though, is it good to be emotionally congested?
No, because at the end of the day, that is gonna burst.
Yeah.
It has to come out.
That's the type of person that ends up, coming and shooting up the school. I mean, that's it's like I said, when you keep suppressing emotions, that's not a good thing. So you got to
Yeah.
find a way
He's
to.
building
Yeah, stop
high.
suppressing your emotions.
Well, he's not quiet, so that doesn't,
Come on, man.
he's quiet right now. 'Cause it's
I'm warming up, I'm
First
warming
time,
up.
first time. Yeah.
He's gonna swing soon.
All right. So I don't know if he's going to get in this one or not, but okay. So God's plan for perilous times. Understand, God was here. And he created everything. He doesn't have to do anything else. He already has a plan for stuff. When we become aware of that plan, at least we can work his plan in our lives. So the idea is, here's something that's in the Bible. Greater is he that is in you than he is that is in the world. Any idea what that means? You guys should. You might know. I don't know.
Yeah, I heard. For sure.
Heard it?
Heard it.
Okay, greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. So who is supposed to be in you?
God.
Yeah, his spirit.
The spirit.
So that spirit is greater than he is who in the world. Who is he that is in the world?
you.
In the world,
In the world.
evil.
Evil. Okay, the devil's actually in charge of this world.
Right.
But like I said, the more truth you know, the more you can stay close to your source and the devil can't touch you. He won't try.
Why is the devil in charge in this world?
Because God made him in charge of this world. He kicked him out of heaven, said, come on down here. This is your domain. It's kind of like a battle because, like I said, your soul's in a battle between the devil and your God.
I got questions because
Go ahead.
Now
Give
you're
it.
opening a whole
Go ahead.
different.
Go
because-
ahead.
Now I'm warmed up. Come on.
Yeah, let's go.
So-
It's 2-on-2. Come on.
So I'm gonna try to like
Yeah.
base it as
Just
I'm
get an
trying
idea,
to make
yeah.
it simple. Simplify my my thoughts for you.
Right.
So say you have a child,
Mhm.
right? And you love your child, and you want your child to, obviously your child has your DNA, has every
Right.
part of you, right?
Right.
If you know there's a place and that place is not good for your child, would you put your child there and let him fend off for yourself?
Okay, I see where he's going with this.
I see where he's going. That's okay. I ain't scared of no ghost. Would I do that?
Yeah.
I would do that only because I put my child in that situation in the garden and I gave him free will. He chose to bring. The devil had no power until we ate the apple. Once we ate the apple of good and evil,
Ain't no we.
I'm just you gotta understand.
No, I'm just
you
joking.
was I can't cuss.
No, I'm just- yeah.
You was in the stuff of Adam.
Yeah, for sure.
So it was we.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all we're all brothers, we're all one. But I'm saying when we chose to not obey God, that gave death its power. God never chose to have us die. Never chose us to be sick. We chose to understand death and sickness. So we gave the power to the devil. Okay? So you're right. God didn't put us in a world thinking that, we're just going to, burn up and go, to where, wherever. That's not what his original intent was. But understand this. God's words will never pass away. His original intent will happen for those who believe in him. Okay, if you don't believe in him, then you choose not to, so you choose the opposite.
Yeah.
That gives the devil power. The devil doesn't have any power in my life. Because I don't go out and I drink and I don't go out and do different things to give him a foothold to try and jump into my world. The people that do different things that know that are wrong, your heart feels it's wrong, that gives the devil power. And like I said, he can have his minions come and have fun with you.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't. I guess I just don't comprehend of
You'll get there.
the thing of because it's something is not clicking if all the resources that you have is already here.
Correct?
And there's many times where you said heaven heaven is on earth, right?
Correct.
So if heaven is on earth, then why would the devil be in charge of heaven if heaven is on earth? So
Okay, now you just
yeah.
changed the whole
No,
argument. The devil is not in charge of heaven. You can
Didn't
have
you just say
listen.
that?
No, I'm saying you can
said
have heaven on earth.
Yeah, you
right.
said
You
on
can
earth,
have
yeah.
heaven on earth.
Yeah.
But it says in the word that when heaven comes back to earth. Earth is going to be remade up the way it used to be with gold streets, all the diamonds and everything. But when he does that, the devil is going to be bound. So the devil will not be in charge of heaven ever.
So
He wanted to be in charge of heaven because he wanted people to bow and worship him over God. He was jealous of God. So God said, bye.
You're saying heaven, what do you call it? Heaven can be on earth only if you have, because heaven can be on earth.
It started here.
But it would, in terms of like the devil, what you're saying is you can't have heaven on earth. But if it's controlled by the devil, then you're choosing the devil to have heaven on earth.
Correct. You cannot have free will and not have good and evil.
Yeah.
I'm saying if he only made everything good, you have no choice. It's just going to be good. So when he gave us a choice to have good and evil, we chose evil. We wanted to know and be like God. That was the idea. That's why we messed up heaven, or messed up earth, my fault. And like I said, the way something runs is usually, how the management is. He's not managing the earth. We are.
Yeah, no,
So
for
that's
sure,
why
we
Earth
are.
is going crazy, because we're managing it and we're greedy. We're messing with the resources. We have people starving in this world. It's like there's food for 1 million people, or 1 billion more people that are here, and it just replenishes itself. The seed of itself inside itself. So anything bad that you can hear about this Earth, we created it.
I mean, I understand all that.
Yeah.
The other part to me just doesn't.
Yes, but the devil is in charge, and you, like I said, he will be at your door if you want him to be there. He's ready for you to. He doesn't even need you to open up the door. He'll just sneak in the cracks. You know what I'm saying? All right. So, anyways, greatest heathen he is in the world. This is what's called a decade of disruption from 2020 to 2030. Basically, meaning that between those 10 years, you're going to see things that you've never seen before, and we've already seen it. As far as some of the words that are coming up, as far as the currency of everything. Like I said, what I'm gonna argue today, though, is the backdrop of God taking us to a new level has to be shown from a backdrop of something that's bad. So I'll get to that. So I'll just give you an example. Like economic unrest is like inflation, debt levels, high unemployment, technological takeovers. What are people worried about right now is happening. Okay, political elections, polarization, war, scandals, people saying elections aren't real. Like I said, they're doing all this right now because there's something coming. Social disruption, division, aggression, entitlement, mental health. I'm telling you, when I first came to Pittsburgh almost 30 years ago, there was Mayview State Hospital. There's a bunch of state hospitals that actually kept the people that were mentally ill out of general society. But they figured out there's really no money in just keep feeding them drugs and just housing them. So they got rid of all those mental health hospitals.
Yeah.
So now, like I said, they're talking about bringing it back because you see what happens with people with these mass shootings and stuff. That's what you see when mental health goes bad enough. It's people just totally out of their mind doing whatever they think they can do.
Oh, those was before my time. Was that system working? Like, I know
I'm
it
saying
wasn't beneficial for the government, but like keeping those ill patients in there, was there any like positivity out of that? What was the outcome?
Well, it stopped the general society from acting foolish. Yeah,
Right.
there was a positivity, but
There's many factors. You can't just rely on that.
I understand. Yeah, I understand. Like I said, it's all morals and stuff too, But okay, and then spiritual is morals, hostility, confusion, and division. Okay, what's this mean? The borrower is a servant to the lender. The borrower, you should know this one. This is the borrower is a
Facts.
servant to the lender.
You're a slave.
Absolutely. Slave to what?
Slave to the damn blender.
You
I
guys
mean, you'll be a slave to his term or whatever.
yeah,
Like,
you guys
so-
understand it. All the money in the world, only about 3% of it's cash.
3%?
Yeah, that's what they say. 97% is debt.
Wow.
So you got to understand, money and financial stuff is all really it's a concept.
I've been saying that for a long time. Money
Yeah.
is a concept, and it can be abandoned any day.
Absolutely.
But because
I don't know.
you
it's-
take your
Oh,
dollar
yeah, it
bill
could
and
be
go to the
abandoned any
middle
day.
of East Africa. It's like it may be worth something, but I don't know if you go into a place that's even backwards, farther. And I don't even know. I don't go anywhere. But I'm saying that person looks at that money and might wipe their butt with it. You know
I
what I'm
mean,
saying?
you go like
That's nice paper.
Huh? No, I'm talking about if you. So there's this Tanzanian tribe, the Hazabe tribe. Like they don't use money, and,
Right.
and like money means nothing to them. It's,
No, I agree.
It's just a concept.
Yeah, you have to buy into
But
it.
because so many people, or it's been, so many people have it and they're backing it up and making it feel important. That's literally it. I've been saying money is just a concept and it can be abandoned at any minute. They just don't want you to, like, that's the reason why all these wars are happening, because of they want control. They want to be able to protect their assets and make sure that you don't come up with ideas like, oh, let's abandon money. Because they're not going to be able to control
Yeah,
it.
no more control.
Yeah.
When you can't control somebody, you're in trouble.
The only reason why people are still stuck on it, they know that I got 20,000 in the bank, 40,000 in the bank. They're like,
You
I don't
can't
want
tell
that
me
to-
nothing.
I don't want that to go up in flames. So they're
Yeah.
not gonna support you. Like, let's abandon the system and start our own.
Right.
But I think that's what.
That's what cryptocurrency is,
yeah.
though. I mean, like I said, they're doing things right now that is getting away from that dollar bill.
Yeah.
And whether it's electronic money or some kind of crypto, they're trying to switch it over because that money that was printed for the last 20, 30 years is still here.
But I think anybody who's smart financial will tell you don't keep your money in the bank, have it in assets and all these other stuff. I'm
saying that makes way more sense.
That's the system can go down at any minute.
I don't think it will go down because they're playing that game you just mentioned. Like they know money it's just a concept. So the debt they're not going to really care about it. They're just going to keep increasing. They're just going to play the same things they're doing now. Change a lot of things, raise here, do this. It's going to be the same cycle back and forth, and the debt's going to keep increasing. Just like Liam said,
I
3% is only cash and 97% is debt. How are you getting around that?
I think it can go at any minute. You just got to think of like if like the internet system goes bad, or like you don't have something for like a certain amount of days, it can go.
It's
it
going
can
to happen.
mean nothing.
It's going to happen.
It can
They're just
mean
going to
nothing.
increase the debt.
They're not gonna trust if you don't have internet to access your bank account. It means nothing. You can't take money out.
Right.
So that means you have nothing. So so people are gonna go back to like, well, I need to start using like hard cash.
All right. Well,
Right?
hard cash ain't going to be worth nothing.
Ain't gonna
Anyways,
be worth
I hit a
nothing
nerve.
either.
Okay.
Now people, like I'm
Just gonna
saying,
add zero
any
in that
minute-
hard cash.
That's not really what this one's about, but that's good. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It definitely, the borrower is definitely serving to the lender. So you want to get out of debt. You know what I mean? You want
100%.
Yeah. Okay, so when you understand God's ways and how he works, you don't react. You respond to the situation with understanding. That's where I want to get you guys.
Say that again.
It says when you understand God's ways and how he works, you don't react. You respond to the situation with understanding. Okay, when you can do that, then no one can control you. Okay, so that's the idea.
That's real tough to get to that point.
Absolutely. But I'm saying it's
Well,
not
enough.
it's not
At that
tough.
because you put that in your mind.
Yeah.
No,
when you
no.
say that, no, I'm telling you, when you say that, you made it tough.
Your words
No,
become.
not.
Your
You
words
guys are
becoming
taking it wrong.
No, we're not taking it wrong. You
Nah,
don't-
I hear you, bro.
You
I
don't
hear you.
understand
I
the
hear you.
understanding.
If somebody poke you some ways, you're going to react some ways. I'm like that too sometimes. So it's a work in
That
progress.
don't make it right.
It's not making it right. I'm just giving you a justification for what you're saying. I'm like that too. So in reality, it's
Okay, here's
not
another
easy.
here's another truth. God never sleeps. When we're down to nothing, he's up to something. So just understand that if something's going on and you feel down, there's a backdrop
I hope
that you
so.
have to get. Now, ain't no hope. It's a truth. You have to accept it.
Right.
And if you accept that truth, it's truth for you.
Right.
If you don't accept it, then it's like, it didn't even happen.
Can you repeat that, please?
Yeah, it just says God never
sleeps.
sleeps. When we're down to nothing, he's up to something. Okay, you gotta understand, he's always doing something. And like I said, just like you said, your father wants to see your son do the best he can. He wants you to go a certain path. If you take that path, the blessings can just, keep coming. If you take another path, he can't. Just like, when I was taking stuff to the soccer, as far as the drinks and stuff like that, I don't mind supporting something that I feel is right. Now, when they start fussing and fighting and stuff, I pick my stuff up and just take off. So I'm trying to teach them. It's like when you do right, things good will happen. You know what I'm saying? If you don't do right, they can go away in a second.
Yeah,
And I don't have to come
don't
back.
see us teaching is like Liam cut the drinks. That's how.
That's what I'm saying. You just think, oh, he's greedy. He just taking that home. I don't even drink Gatorade. You guys can attest to that. All right, so God works in the critical contrasts, which is basically called backdrops for blessings. So here's an example. They say the stars come out at night. Is that true?
Yes.
No.
No. The stars is already there.
Mm-hmm. Why can we see them at night and we can't see them during the day?
There's light.
It's a contrast between this brother should know this one, talking about light and dark. I'm saying something can't be seen if something's overshadowing it. You know what I'm saying? If you have too much light, then something that's a lesser light is going to be dimmed out from that stronger light.
Sure.
So the idea is they're simply visible at night because the night provides the perfect backdrop for the stars. Okay, so there's lesser light from the sun. The stars are always there, but the daytime is not the contrast you need to see the stars. Some things are around you that you cannot see until the appropriate contrast is present. I told you, everything is here that you need for your destiny. You're not going to see it until the appropriate contrast comes to you. It could come in a way of something like, losing all your money. Now all of a sudden I got to figure out and be resourceful with what I got, because this is the weirdest thing I heard before. It's like you already have enough resources to provide, in your vicinity to fulfill your destiny. You're mismanaging them. I'm looking around. I got 8 acres. It's like I got this, I got that. I'm not doing anything with it. That's what I'm saying. You have to understand. I'm not going to do anything with it until something happens where I need to do something with it. That's the critical contrast that God's going to do for me. I can't look at it as, oh man, I lost my job. That happened for a reason. Okay, because I need to take what I have and do what I'm supposed to, because I got more than what I already need. Okay, so everything.
Greed.
Okay, everything and anything. No, it's not greed. It's like you're kind of just going towards what you think is what you want. It's not really what He wanted you here for, but you might just think a little different. So everything and anything you've ever wanted or needed from God is always present, but it's waiting for that critical contrast. Otherwise, you will never see it. If you spend your life asking God for things that He has already given to you, then your prayer life will become frustrating. Because people ask all the time, what am I supposed to do? Well, it's already there. Figure it out, dummy. It's just, you got to take that time.
I don't think calling him a dummy going to be useful.
I'm sure he might be calling you worse than that. I don't know. God, okay, so what we're supposed to do is we're basically supposed to tell God, please open our eyes to see the provision you've already provided for my destiny. We talked about this before as far as seeing the, what's that word? Seeing the, it starts with a P. If something, it's probably coming down here anyways.
What are you trying
I'm just
to
talking
say?
about say my stove. I could take my stove, it isn't on, but once a year maybe, and I could bake cookies. Seeing the potential in everything. That's what I'm saying. There's so much stuff that I have that I got 3 or 4 washers and dryers out in my
He said once a year.
yeah, in my thing, and I could start a laundromat. That's what I'm saying. There's so much stuff around me that I'm not utilizing because my wife bought them because they were a little bit cheaper on the internet at one time, but now they're sitting in my garage. There's people without, any kind of washer or dryers, and I got 3 or 4 of them sitting, in
Why
my.
don't you just give them away?
Well, if I give them away, then that's not what I'm supposed to do.
Well, they ain't doing nothing.
Man, how'd
They're
you
there
know
for a
this,
reason.
No, I'm
I
just
got to learn how
saying,
to use them. You're right. If I
get them,
that's a
they're
whole
not
different
doing
mindset.
nothing. Yeah,
I'm in the market, Liam.
Yeah.
This is your potential
They're
right
nice,
here.
bro. They're 1,500. I mean, they're nice because they're big cubic. Because
Like I said, I'm in the market. We can talk after this.
all right, all right.
No,
so
I'm just saying if you're not using them, then they're wasting
it's not that I'm not
resources.
using them.
Yeah.
I'm saying they're there for when my other ones break. Because when I do a bunch of dog stuff, they will wear out 10 times faster than a normal
You have
washer.
the proper American mentality.
Absolutely, it's horrible.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean to
I
call you out.
understand. No, I'm saying my soul was built by my education, by my environment, by the people around me.
But you know it's wrong though. You know.
Wrong? Nothing's wrong.
No, I'm saying
It's
in your heart-
mismanaged.
in your heart,
Every time I go home, it feels wrong.
Yeah, it's what I'm saying.
I got an RV sitting in my
Yeah, so
driveway.
you know
that
it's
just
wrong.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So-
it's just wrong.
Yeah, so but like I was talking to DA about it like yesterday too, like last night. I was like, you know exactly when you go home, you know exactly what you're supposed to do, what you're supposed to have. But the thing is you procrastinated thinking that the situation is gonna change itself. And you're waiting for it to change itself while you should be doing something about
Not
it.
even that. You're going to be like, I have time. I don't have to do it right
Yeah.
now. And
That's
then,
the thing. And you over there mismanaging resources that and if they're sitting there, sell it for cheap, right?
You know, if someone's talking right now, what he's talking about is himself.
No,
right?
I'm not. I'm
I'm sitting in
talking.
front of
Nah,
a
he just trying
microphone.
to give you some,
No,
you
I'm
know-
saying everybody got to take their own
That's
little
just-
thing. I understand what you're saying, but when you explain it, then you don't have to explain it. Believe me, I know.
Yeah.
But I'm saying it isn't about selling for cheap. It's not because it's
It's a
still got
choice.
value. How you use that value is going to determine, what I do with myself. You know what I mean? If I choose to leave it there, then I'm going to be, kind of jammed up a little bit. So
Then why complain if you already made the
I'm
choice?
not complaining.
It sounded like you was
I got
complaining,
stuff
man.
that I ain't even used yet. So I'm like I said, I'm rich beyond my imagination. I already have everything around me that I need to fulfill my destiny. I don't know what it is yet.
Okay, then. I mean,
Hey,
if you
Haji,
already
we
have
might
an
have to
argument
stop
for it,
Bad, man.
you.
No, you ain't got to see my. I got
We
a
got-
big
we
dog.
might-
It'll
we might
take
have
care of
to
just
stop
bring your
Bad,
peace. That's all. Because that dog will. He's by your size.
Nah, I mean, I don't need it. I just like, you know, it's being.
So what in this house do you have? That's what I'm saying. When you're aware of what's going on, it's everybody. It's all of us.
I don't waste time, honestly. I get rid of this shit.
Yeah, I had a $1,500 mic. There was a kid from the neighborhood academy who was like, "Yo, I'm trying to learn how to record." I'm like, "I'm not using it. Here you go. You can have it." If I'm not using anything right now, before you guys came, there was a kid named Dasi. He's like, "Yo, I need a vest for my Ronin. Like it's sitting in the house. Go use it." Da has my mic he had for like 3 months. I mean, not 3 months, 3 weeks. You know, I let him use it because if it's sitting in the house, like, what I'm gonna do with it? Because that's what you know. I look at it like, yes, I'm not giving them to, but if they need to use it, like, go ahead, use it, because that's helping. That could inspire somebody to do something else. I'm looking at it like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not looking at it completely like it's just whatever I can inspire people to like help them or move. That's what I'm gonna do.
Okay, let's talk a little more about backdrops. Okay, Christianity and Islam thrived against the backdrop of persecution. So what made Christianity and Islam basically the two biggest religions is people kind of like battling each other. Okay, so that's what made it the biggest. The gospel, which is the good news in Christianity, shines against the backdrop of the law. Now, the law was the 10 Commandments that they gave to Moses. I think that's in both.
Sorry for my ignorance. Can you define gospel? Like, I know
Gospel
it's
to us means the good news that Jesus gave his life to,
Yeah,
on,
like
on the
preaching,
cross.
like good stuff. Yeah, that's what I know
that's
from.
the good news.
Okay.
But I'm saying, I'm just trying to show you what contrasts are.
Gotcha.
So one actually had to happen for the other one to, kind of come into the forefront.
Gotcha.
So the law condemns you to find the Savior, which the gospel provides. Miracles, I'll give you an example about that. Miracles happen against the backdrop of impossibilities. Like, say, Jesus walking on water. It's like that kind of defies the, laws of gravity, where he should have got sucked into the water. So natural laws are actually temporarily suspended to have a higher court overrule them than spiritual laws. So you may see things that you're like, wow, that shouldn't happen. Like 100 years ago, we see a 747 go up in the air. It's like, what the heck is that? You know what I mean? You have to understand the laws and understand his principles to, change things.
Create lift.
Okay, so now when God allows certain things, he permits them on purpose. He actually has a purpose for his permission. Basically meaning that the enemy can't strike without permission. Okay, so the devil can't really do things unless he asks God, can I? Because God usually puts a hedge around you and he's protecting you. As long as you're in his will, he can't really touch you. So God doesn't give permission without a purpose. The purpose is always the creation of a platform. Okay, what we did here, just trying to get on a platform of podcasting, we're creating something that, allows information to go on. The platform is the critical contrast. So basically, when we're sitting here talking about the truths, if people actually see this, that's the backdrop they need to change their mind about, what's bothering them. All right? So the platform is always the place of your promotion, protection, and prosperity. So if you provide the platform, that raises you up, and then you'll either get promoted, protected, or you'll find prosperity. So the whole idea is the enemy is always working for you. God will make everything work for the good of his people. So it's like anytime the enemy tries to thwart God's plans or tries to make you think funny things about yourself or whatever, if you check out the truth, that's the backdrop you need to see. He's a liar. He can't create anything. All he does is corrupt what God, is trying to tell you. So here's some examples in the Bible, and I think it's in the Quran. Potiphar, when Joseph was sold into slavery and he went into basically Potiphar's house, God gave him permission to put him in jail because Joseph ends up going in and being like the second in command behind the Pharaoh, and end up saving his people, because he gave him a enlightenment or some kind of thoughts that, there's going to be 7 years of famine. So he collected up and stored, and like I said, he was able to feed. So permission was given, platform was created, promotion experienced. So he went from the jail to basically to the Pharaoh's palace.
I mean, every experience is supposed to, teach you you know, like every journey, like you gotta look at things as a journey. You're supposed to learn something from that to take you to the next level. You gotta look at every situation. You have to be able to, you know, see the beauty in that.
So what is that word that you're looking for now? It's critical contrast. Now you have a terminology put to that, and you can understand that when something bad happens, all that is creating a platform for you to rise up, elevate. Otherwise, you stay the same. Staying the same is not an option. So what happens is sometimes you see that critical contrast and you get negative, and all of a sudden there is no God. Now I'm going down. It could actually drop you too. Yeah. But you can use it to raise yourself up or use it to drop yourself down. So your test is really a contest. The contest actually creates the contrast. The contrast is the backdrop for your next blessing and the platform for your next promotion. So God wants us to thrive in all disruptions. Is that true?
Absolutely.
That's what we were just talking about. Okay, he doesn't want us to get beat down. He doesn't want us to, what he's doing with that disruption is actually kind of like taking off some of your negativity stuff.
And disruptions, you know, he's actually creating, he's actually not creating, but he's actually people are able to access it more, because a lot of people should be praying all the time, but a lot of people only pray in desperate times, right? But I think a lot of creativity actually does come out of, you know, destruction and a lot of chaos.
You got to think about it. When I stop and pray because something bad's going on, all that really does is allow access to what's already inside of me to come out. Because if I'm in that bad situation and I'm losing my mind, losing my stuff, I can't think. You know what I mean? When you can think, you can actually get beyond what's there. You know, but that's there for a reason. That's there to promote you. You know what I mean? Like I said, that's there to give you a nudge, because otherwise we just kind of stay status quo. So
is that because it's human nature to, like, they don't think about praying all the time, and what God wants you to pray for him all the time. You don't want to rely on disruption for your life in order to know the truth and grow out of it. Why is God always bringing destruction if we already know the answer to follow God's path?
Okay, take a step back. Does God bring the disruption?
No,
it's
God
mostly
allows you to bring your own disruption.
I mean, we on earth here. We
we have free will.
Yeah,
but we have choice. That's what I'm saying.
Correct.
You have the choice
choose
to not
go to bed
disruption.
tonight. You're going to choose to bring the disruption tomorrow, being tired as crap at your work. So did God create that? No, he
comes back
allowed
to
that.
choice, man. You just said
Absolutely.
it.
Yeah. You choose it.
Why would I choose that if I know I'd rather go to sleep early and pray? And why
Then
would
you don't
I
have to worry about the disruption of being tired at work.
100%. So that's what I'm trying to say. Isn't it just back to us? Even God gives you that opportunity to go through that obstacle and see the right path. But if you so hard headed, it's just gonna keep coming back. The destructions are gonna keep coming back. So when do you get to the point where you just choose the right thing every damn time?
When do you?
all the time.
I don't know if you ever do. I'm saying
that's what I'm
there's
asking.
always,
Is it human nature?
I think
We're
it's.
meant to-
I'm
we're
saying it's
biologically meant
our
to be like that.
flesh has desires and it has things going on that keeps making us make choices that are not necessarily good for us. You know, I know cookies ain't good for me. I like cookies.
Me too.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about it because you're still young. When you get older, you got to worry about it a little bit more because your body is nowhere near as active. But I'm saying I make the choice to do that, so I have to deal with consequences.
So does
until
that
I
make,
stop eating cookies.
But does that make you a non-disciplined person?
Absolutely. Yeah, I would say I'm definitely not disciplined in that area.
Yeah.
Some areas I'm never late to work. I'm always, my word is my bond. Like I said, if I say I'm gonna do something, I'm there for sure. Yeah. Just like Wavy. I mean, like I said, there's certain things that you could be real good at, and certain things that you have to work at. You know, that's human nature because it's like I said, your desires. So, okay. One of the last concepts.
So I think
and we're
if you
done.
want
Go ahead.
control, I mean, if you want freedom, you have to be able to have discipline in all areas.
Absolutely, freedom causes. Their discipline causes freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to. You know, you have to have one without. You can't have one with the other.
So in that case, you're slaved into some things.
Think about cookies. What they do is they give you a shot of dopamine. You know, it's almost like a drug.
Yep.
any kind of high sugar foods. They know what they're doing when like I
They
said,
know they,
Black
you know
Rock
what
and a
you're
couple
doing
of these
because
people,
you don't.
I know what they're
making
doing
the choice
too.
to
I
buy
make
the
the
cookies.
choice. Yeah.
They know they. Don't blame.
I'm just
them.
saying they. I don't have to blame them. I'm saying if I was in Africa, those cookies might not even be present.
Yeah.
I mean, it don't just even gotta be food and cookies. There's other things too people do like
He was
to
just giving
destruct
an
them.
example.
That's just an
Like,
example. Yeah, I don't mess with other female.
But you're
I
right,
can only- I can only afford one.
Them chocolate chip cookies, man, they hit differently.
Yeah. But all right. So just to wrap that up, okay, you were chosen for a time like this. You have a unique assignment. The world is going to be the platform for the star you're about to appear in the night. So the idea is, like I said, if you allow this critical contrast to be a platform to take you to the next level, you're going to be fine. If you allow it to knock you down, that's not good. Now, just because you can't see something doesn't mean it's not there. Okay, invisibility isn't the absence of something. It's just you can't see it. So it's your perception that has to change. So the closer you are to getting some of the truths into your body, into your mind, you'll be able to perceive things on a different level.
100%.
So some people, like Haji, can look at this camera and he can see a whole studio. He can see people doing different things. I look at it and it's like, man, I can't get past the on-off switch. Where's the remote control? Yeah. That's what I'm saying. There's certain things that we see differently that don't mean they're not there. You know, it's just you don't perceive them. So the more you get into the truths of God, the more perception you're going to have of how this world really works. That's the idea, okay?
So seek knowledge.
Yeah. I mean, it's seek truths, not just knowledge, because there's a lot of knowledge out there that tries to take you away from the truth.
I mean, the knowledge will eventually lead you to the truth. That's the point. Like example, like the camera, he sees it different. I have to learn to what he sees.
See,
that's the knowledge part.
he sees that, though, with the knowledge he has because that's part of his destiny.
Yeah.
The worst thing I can do is try to be Haji and try to figure out that camera. That's not where I'm going.
Yeah, everybody got that.
But me understanding that that's Haji, then I can stay out of his lane and he can do what he does and I can do what I do and we can produce something great. You know, that's the idea. You can't have everybody trying to seek knowledge for every little thing. That's what I'm saying. The more you do, the less you're going to be good at, you know. So it's crazy.
You gotta start
need
somewhere,
to,
though.
you need to find that one thing that really, you know, gets you going and then everybody's going to be chasing you. You know what I mean? It's
You
like
a master at the camera? You think you master
I
at it?
think
Or not yet?
I not only I think
Have
I
you
know
put 10,000 hours
I
into
put
it?
more than 10,000.
That's what I'm saying. He's beyond that.
It don't matter what new camera comes out, you got it down.
No, because it's the foundation is the same.
Yeah, the
You know?
principles are the same.
So it's
yeah, the
just
truths
like-
are the same about the camera, so he knows them.
A masterpiece.
Yeah. So just like with me with kids, I understand more about kids than you guys do because, you know, you guys don't have to deal with them on the same level I do. You may have a child at home and you may be frustrated with that child because you don't know the truth about what God said about how you to raise that child. Yeah. Once you learn that, then there's no frustration anymore. So how good are you seeing the invisible? How good are you seeing the potential of the thing? Like I said, I never even would have thought about my stupid, you know, stove in my kitchen, you know, the potential that thing has compared to what I use it for. I never would have thought about that until someone said it, you know. So, okay, so everything you see in the physical world existed in the invisible world first. Just because you could not perceive what thought I could see doesn't make it not real. It's an idea. You gotta think about everything in this world started with an idea. Okay, and then the better you understand that idea, the better you'll understand what's going on. Okay, so what you see has more to do with where you look than it does with what is there. What the heck's that mean? What you see has more to do with where you look than it does with what is there.
That is called being gifted. Nah, I mean, to answer that question is, for me, it's like, where you look is like everybody has a different perspective. So if you see it from like a different angle, then like Haji he sees everything from a different angle from that camera point point of view. If I'm not looking what he's seeing, I'm not gonna see that same like greatness out of that, you know, whatever it is, the item. Yeah.
Okay. So what you see has more to do with where you look than it does with what is there. So if that camera wasn't there, it's like that spot has no meaning to us.
All right, yeah.
All right. Okay. The reason why you can't see what there is because you're looking in the wrong place. Like you were saying, if I went home and I sold all those dryers and washers, now it's an empty space inside my thing.
You
Is,
have
it
an
the, is it
idea.
the same?
No, you'll have an idea for something else.
Maybe. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right. Maybe.
Most likely.
Yeah, because where
Ain't
you
no
look.
maybe.
Oh, okay. All right. Because the magicians don't actually know magic. Magicians actually, they get you to look at something when they're doing something else
Of course,
Right.
distraction.
as distractions.
That's what the government's.
Oh
the
my
government
God,
is
they're the
magician.
biggest magicians,
Of course.
and the biggest gangs.
Yeah.
too.
They'll give you like, they'll give everybody 1,000 and they'll be doing something that's, they about to get their money right back. Everybody, oh my gosh.
Taxes.
Yeah.
You gotta understand that 1,000 ain't nothing.
That's what, yes, got to.
Because all they did was they told this dude over here printing all his money. They handed it us. Now what?
They didn't even print none, to be honest with you.
They don't need to.
They
It's
just
all- it's
made
all
the
debt.
numbers up.
Yeah.
They put that
told
money
the
on
bank-
a little card like
yeah,
this.
they told the
Wow.
bank just.
And then boom, take the prices for
Okay,
gas,
to try,
$20.
yeah, I know. To try and bring this around full circle, we need to start to perceive on a spiritual level, and most of the world is actually seeing only on the physical level. So you have to be able to see potential in things. You have to try and get the truth in you. Try to move towards, what your destiny is. No one lacks access to resources that God provided before we were formed. We only lack awareness of the access. So we gotta understand that whatever's out there is out there, and we can actually access it. Okay, the more you line up with truth, the better you can see spiritually. Your awareness is what's giving you access. So the more you're aware of, the more you have access to things. Okay, we cannot see the resources that are right in front of us because of the lack of resourcefulness inside of us. So if you didn't understand how taxes work, or you didn't understand how job is jump out of bed, go on a journey of the broke just to be just over broke. I hit some people with that and they were ready to swing at me. They're like, are you serious? And I said, you can get a second job. Yeah, it's another 30 or 40% you're giving to the government. So now you're working, for 80%, in 2 jobs, but you're working 24 hours a day. It's like, geez. So the best thing we can do is actually pray for God to open up our eyes, that we will see the truth. The truth we can't see is the truth we cannot be. So if you can't see that truth, you're not going to be that truth. So
No. I got to push back.
go ahead, push back, because that's the last thing I'm about to say. So the truth you
said-
cannot see
Uh-huh.
is the truth you cannot be.
Well,
B is the first thing. B, do have
God is the
belief,
truth. I
right?
cannot physically see God, but I want to be like God.
You can't physically see God.
You said seeing physically, right?
Yeah.
You said the truth that you cannot see is the truth you cannot be.
He's digging a hole.
I am digging a hole.
Who,
and I'm
who
trying
made,
to
who made
stand-
those trees out there?
Huh?
Who made the trees?
God.
You
Who
don't
made
even have
you?
to go there. You can just make
You
him.
can physically see what God is.
Yeah, into that perspective, you can say that.
Mm-hmm.
You can say that to a lot of things, not just God Himself.
Mm-hmm.
You can say that to the devil. Like some people act a certain way. Who do you think that influenced that? The devil.
Okay.
And you're seeing that person the way they're acting, right?
Right.
It just goes back to that. Like I'm just saying, like, and God answers in itself. To us, God is light. Like everything is like in Islam for us, we view God as light. Like the truth, like anything that's light is just reveal itself.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just speaking like physically. Like
So the truth, I said the truth we cannot see is the truth we cannot be. So if you can't see something, how could you be something you can't see?
how can I be something that I cannot see?
Correct.
Just believe in it.
How can you believe it if you've never,
It's called faith.
right?
I don't have to see something to like just go for it.
Right.
Like just like I don't know what my future's gonna be like in 5 years, but I'm still going for it because I have a plan.
Okay, when God gives you an imagination, can you see that imagination?
Yeah.
Okay, so now you just said the truth you cannot see, but you did see it.
Maybe I'm just being a more physical
Yeah.
person right now.
I'm trying to get you
I
spiritual.
mean, even if it's physical too, it's
I'm saying there's things that you have coming into your head that's not physical yet that you can see, then you can be, then you can make them. There's an idea. But I'm saying if there is no idea, there is no thing.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the idea. Yeah, it's a different level. Like you said,
I
you
mean,
can argue
if-
physically.
even if you talk about physically, if you want to be, somewhere, you're gonna like look at whoever that person is there.
Mhm.
You're gonna see like how they're living or trying to be mentor with that person so you can learn from something. So there is physically you are saying something that is there that you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not just gonna like, for example, if you want to do the same thing somebody else does. You're gonna look at who's the person does it the best and try to get information off him or learn a lot from that person. So physically, you are seeing it.
Yeah. Well, I was just talking more in faith. Like I don't have to see it necessarily to believe in it. That's what I was trying to push back from.
Well, you're pushing back at something I told you. Your imagination also has pictures. It comes in pictures.
Yeah.
So you did see it. If you don't see it, you're not going to be it. That's what I'm saying. Truth, you don't have to argue it. I'm saying truth is truth. You know what I mean? It works anywhere you sit, anywhere we're talking between two people. There are a lot of people that will fight back or push back on truth, but eventually truth will explain itself.
That just takes you to one option. Then.
Right.
Because if your imagination, you can see it in anything. No matter what you do, you're always going to like have a vision of it. Like then that means everything is
Everything's
it's true.
possible.
Yeah, I guess that's what you're saying.
Everything's possible. Correct.
I don't know. I guess yeah.
You're just arguing in your
Taking
own,
me
in
back
your own
to
way.
zero.
It's not back to zero. It's back to truth.
I mean, zero is the truth.
Right. Well, truth you just can't be argued.
It's back to truth.
That's all. Okay, that kind of wraps up. So I don't know if you want to. I don't know.
I got questions for the people, and I
ahead,
want you
brother.
to answer.
Yes, Mr.
Some of my
Ramon.
viewers, you know, a lot of people out there say, "Don't waste my time. Time is money." I want you to explain why time is not money, and time is worth way more than money for the people.
Okay.
Yeah, put your answers in the comments.
Copy that.
All right. That's it, brother.